I would say let's talk about for the loved ones of somebody who's in recovery. Like, what are some good advice that we could give to them? Because sometimes, actually, a lot of times, people don't know how to support somebody that's in recovery, especially if it's never been that way. And so, like, I know some people are like, oh, good, you're fixed. Here, you want some wine? Or they don't think about maybe they're hosting an event and they don't think maybe I should remove all the pills from the medicine cabinet or, those sort of things that are sort of have been normal, but they don't know now how to support somebody who's in recovery so that that person has their best chances and can survive the holidays in this new shoes, more or less, of recovery.
Yeah. Yeah. Take all the drugs out of the house.
Yep. 101. But I
Can't
mean,
trust them.
I'm laughing about it and it sounds like basic, but it's not something that most people would even think about or consider. They wouldn't even know to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I guess it depends on the drug of choice, but um, yeah, generally speaking, you don't, if you're worried about your son or daughter, husband, wife, um, you're worried about them finding something in your house. Uh, well, for one, maybe you shouldn't have it. And number two, yeah, you should get a safe maybe, um, or yeah, just throw it away if unless it's something you really need. I think that is, yeah, that's a very just basic first step for a lot of people, making sure the house is a safe place for someone that is newly in recovery,
Yeah.
making
Yeah.
sure it's a safe place.
Well, and I think even people who maybe have been in recovery for a while, again, the holidays can just be very triggering. So even though, like last year, everyone was drinking and they were fine, they were brand new in recovery, there can also reach a point of complacency where, oh, I don't want to, inhibit everybody else's ability to have fun. Maybe I could just have one.
Yeah.
And so if it is possible to continue to support somebody without the alcohol, I think that's obviously the best scenario and best situation. But that's also like we talk about like weddings. It's just almost like part of the gig. Like it's just part of a lot of people's celebration. And so people don't want to stop others from celebrating in a manner that doesn't destroy their lives, but it could lead to complacency where now they're like, well, maybe I could just have one as long as I'm not doing heroin. I can have a glass of wine with dinner, no big deal.
Slippery slope,
Right,
right?
right.
And yeah, trying to not make any excuses for yourself, not try to, it's yeah, it's difficult because the holidays just in general always seem like the perfect justification to do something you're not supposed to do.
Yeah. In
Or
the name of fun or support or
yeah,
festivities or joy or yeah.
or in the name of it just being the holidays for some people, right? Where they're
True.
like, it's the holidays. I can't.
Like New Year's Eve. Like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, sticking to what your true goal is and I think a lot of people in early recovery are, they're battling those thoughts of uh, of maybe I can have one or maybe I can try to do this, but I'll just be really careful this time. I'll just be
Yeah.
extra careful. I'm smarter than this now. All those thoughts, you
Yeah, I'll
know.
take all these tips and tricks that I learned to get in recovery and be a functioning addict now.
Yep.
Or you don't even consider yourself an addict because a lot of times people feel fixed. So they're not even considering that they're a functioning addict. They're just normal now,
Mm. Yeah.
which, like I say, it's like a Russian roulette. Like there is no normal after you've been an addict. And so some people do go on to lead sort of normal-ish social functions, casual drinking, but I would never recommend it because a lot of people that just leads them right back to where they left off. And you would never want to tell somebody like, yeah, you're okay to go back to that. Like, no big deal.
Right. Yeah, you never want to give someone the okay, the pass to do that. And as far as like a family's perspective, um, understanding, what the general recommendations are for people in recovery,
Yeah.
um, and I think it's hard for a lot of families to hold that line because they don't hold it with themselves,
Right.
because they're not in recovery, so they don't have that same stigma around having a drink or something like that, right? But
Absolutely.
it's important to remember the bad days in that moment, and but not bringing it up and talking about it, but being like, okay, well, I know what this can turn into, and that's a tough conversation. I'm sure lots of families and people have had it. I'm sure I've had it in the past where your parents, they want you to, they know you should be sober, they want you to be clean and sober, um, but the newly clean and sober person starts to kind of try to plead their case,
Yeah.
like, because they want to have fun too, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And they don't want to inhibit other people's funds because sometimes people get weird around people that are sober because like you said,
Yep.
it highlights a mirror of them now having to look at themselves. So it makes people
Mhm.
feel awkward if they're around somebody who's not partaking, particularly if they used to partake together, it can make people feel a certain way. And that's where you've got to feel really strong and confident in yourself to not take that on and try to fix that for them so they feel better about themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of, if somebody is trying to plead their case of having a drink and whatnot, and you're the loved one of uh, that person struggling with addiction, it's just important to know that that's just denial talking, and just, yeah, excuses and rationalization that are gonna lead to no good. So if you have that little bit of education, like when people start thinking like that or talking out loud about those types of thoughts, oftentimes, yeah, they've already kind of relapsed in their mind, and they're just looking for the approval, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so I
Which I
guess the
think is like really important because this comes full circle with where we started. Like if I think that's where it's imperative for the individual in recovery to set those boundaries and have those communications prior to these events so that if they are feeling that way, their family knows and they're like, we're not going to do that. We're here to support you. Like that's where it's really important to sort of advocate for yourself and your recovery before you find yourself in a tricky situation that you might spontaneously reactively just do something that you later regret. So I think, and we teach people this, and again, easier said than done, but it's really imperative to have good communication and good boundaries whenever you're going into these situations. Then you sort of already build in that safety net so that it doesn't become a thing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, leaning on uh, your recovery group, the people that in
Yeah.
recovery, like leaning into uh yeah, those conversations with other people that are sober, just talking about how's it going, trying to just uh bring it up in a way, just being sober through the holidays, talking it through with someone that's also in recovery, so maybe a sponsor or a
Mhm.
mentor.
A meeting, a
Yeah,
virtual
going to a
meeting, a
meeting.
smart meeting, AANA. Yeah, any
Yeah.
of those, all of
Yeah, and
those.
having that stuff fresh before you go into potentially trigger holiday environment. Having those reminders, yeah, going to a meeting is a great place to, get those reminders, and to remind yourself like, oh crap, yep, I'm not normal, and not that not being normal is a bad thing. But I'm, you know, different. I need to stay sober. I need to stay the course. I know how this is going to end up. Going to a meeting, you hear a lot of the sayings, or you're just simply just reminded, like, you're right, like, this is the way, this is my path of,
Yeah.
of being sober.
Yeah, I
Like,
I would say another good method is leaning into whatever spirituality or religion that you have and finding the support within those groups and that faith.
Yeah.
Um, for many years, when I would go to Reno, and I'm not a practicing Catholic, my grandma is, but I would go with her to church on Christmas Eve because for me it was a special bonding time with her. But also there is such a place there of support and caring and group and community, and whether you're partaking in their specific beliefs or not, it's a very uplifting and nice place to find solace in when you're struggling emotionally.
Hmm. I agree. Yeah. Leaning into spirituality, whatever that means. Yeah. And
Yeah,
and enjoying that part of the holidays if you can.
yeah. Yeah, because it's there for you and it's non-judging, and it's for me, I think it's sometimes overlooked unless you're like pretty religious and you go every Sunday and that sort of thing. Those that don't have that specific organized way of going about their religion, sometimes we can forget about it. So I think leaning into your faith and spirituality is key as well.
Nice. Good one.
Yeah. What else? How about that holiday workout, the 12 days of Christmas? That's a pretty good one to head into the holidays.
That is a good one.
It's a brutal workout for
Yeah,
those of
long,
you that
long
don't know.
workout. Make all that food go to the muscles. That's what I
That's how
always.
I justify it. I'm like, I'm going to eat really crappy today, so I'm going to work out to earn it. And
Yeah,
so that's what I'll do is like Christmas morning, especially when my kids got older, it's not all about opening presents and all that stuff. It's like getting in that good workout so I feel better about knowing I'm not going to eat the best food on this day, but allowing myself to enjoy and partake in that non-regimen of enjoying the holiday as well.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that's a good like reward system for yourself for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting a tough workout because you know that you may be having some more unhealthy sugary treats later.
Rolls. Gosh.
Rolls, bread rolls.
Might have some rolls, might have some yeah, cookies or probably some pie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, because if you're really, really focused on, you know, diet and exercise and you're on that side of recovery, with some a lot of people get into that side where they're, they're and I am that person for sure. Just
For
like
sure.
go one way or the other.
Yeah.
Full on into destroying my health, like full blown assault on on your own health, or here we are trying to be as healthy and regimented as possible, the absolute opposite side of the pendulum. And yeah, I mean, for me, allowing myself to enjoy a few things that I normally don't enjoy is, and doing so in a way that where I can feel good about myself is good. So like what you're talking about is, yeah, making sure I get a good workout in, and that way I can enjoy some of these holiday things that I normally wouldn't indulge in as if I want to,
Yeah.
if there's something good,
Yeah.
you
If
know.
it's worth it. If it's worth
Yeah,
throwing
if
the
it's
diet
worth
out
it.
the window.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I I made some amazing keto pumpkin soup, which I'm very proud of.
Um,
But for me, that was a great treat, but I made it, so I knew exactly what went into it. So that it was 100% guilt free. And then I got to share it with others and be like, do you like it? It's actually healthy. But I let them eat it first because, some people think, oh, it's healthy. It's not going to taste good. So, kind of being causative over supplying things that maybe otherwise would be unhealthy, but you bring it in a healthy way and share it so you don't feel so crappy after eating food that's not good for you.
yeah, yeah, I agree. Uh, keto pumpkin soup, huh?
It's amazing. I make it savory, so it's like a little bit of spicy, and then I couple that with the jalapeno cheddar sourdough bread. Amazing.
Nice.
I know. I'm very proud of myself over that one.
Keto with sourdough. Interesting.
Huberman just liked your story that I posted, and you could actually talk to him right now.
What?
I'm gonna say something.
Huberman just liked my story and he is responding?
You could talk to him.
I can talk to him?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Come on my show. Let's
That's
talk
what I'm
addiction. Come on.
That's what I'm saying.
He's the pinnacle. I love what Dr. Huberman talks about with addiction because it's science-based and it 100% supports like the way we feel about things long before I knew it was scientific. So Huberman's like one of my all-time favorite professionals out there that completely aligns with a lot of what we believe in and we teach others.
He's cutting edge.
Yeah, he is.
He's
He
on
is.
that cutting edge of science recommendation stuff, which is
Yeah.
super interesting.
Super interesting. Like I've learned so much about just the hormones and the different feel good chemicals and how to push myself when I don't want to because I'm actually going to feel better, especially because I don't like it. So I'm teaching myself not to like anything, so I get more out of it when I do it. No, I'm kidding. I mean, kind of, kind of. I mean, I'll be honest, it's freaking hard. Like here's a seasonal thing. So it starts to get dark and cold at 5 o'clock. It's hard to feel motivated to go into that gym when you're freezing and you're in layers and everything is very cold. The bars, the barbells, all that kind of stuff. Like it's hard for me being kind of like a warm blood person and wanting to be warm all the time to force myself into those situations, even though I always feel better and I'm grateful and I warm up pretty quickly. It's still not my go-to favorite thing at night to work out.
Yeah.
But I do it because then I feel better.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, some days it's just, yeah, you just would rather be comfortable.
Absolutely. Another cool tip or trick, Tom, that we could talk about, and maybe it's more just advice, is a lot of times it's about creating new traditions. It's not doing what you've done every year because that's what we do and that's how we do it. It's like, well, that way obviously wasn't working for me. So maybe it's time to create some new traditions and new ways of doing things that support me in recovery and be willing to do that. I think a lot of times we get stuck in this is how we do it. This is how we've always done it. This is the way it needs to be done. But being like, let's be curious about that. Like, what could we do differently that's not quite so triggering, that we still feel holiday-y about, but it's a new tradition and it's a new way of being.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of what we talked about is kind of like enduring the holiday season, like how to just deal with it, and in recovery or as the parent of a loved one. But yeah, I kind of bit my tongue earlier because there are those like radical extremes, or certain circumstances or situations where, yeah, you do need to make a new routine, or not, I shouldn't say routine, a new like Christmas or a new Year's tradition for yourself, because the old one's just not going to work anymore,
Yeah.
And yeah, those are some really difficult decisions. I can't really blanketly talk about you know that because there's so many specific details to relationships, the depth and the traumas and all of those things that kind of can make me say, yeah, well, maybe you shouldn't hang out with your family for Christmas this year.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not, this isn't a good idea. But, I guess since we're talking about it, yeah, knowing your limits and having boundaries with yourself and, being in recovery is all about learning how to kind of trust yourself again. Do you trust yourself in that situation? Do you trust yourself around those people? And I know I'm kind of going on a different avenue than what you were saying. The way you put it was a little more positive, like making new traditions, you know,
But
which
sometimes it's out of
that's the
necessity.
best way to look at it, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe you are one of those people where it's like everything that you normally do for the holidays is just, you shouldn't do it because
Yeah.
it's going to put you in it's going to compromise uh, your recovery and possibly put you in a bad spot again. So yeah,
Yeah. And it could be as easy as like, let's just go to Disneyland for the day. It's very
Mhm.
festive there.
For the
People aren't
day, yeah.
around drinking, they're having
Mhm.
fun. Like you're
Right.
around the joy. And maybe that's what it is. It's the Christmas spirit. It's not necessarily all the other stuff that gets lumped in with it. And maybe that's the right way to go for you. At least this year, maybe every year, who knows? Like we said, it might be a new tradition where you're like, every Christmas we're going to Disneyland. That's the thing to do.
Yeah. Or we're having Christmas lunch, not Christmas dinner.
Yeah, or I'm providing it. I'm going
Yeah.
to throw it. That way I'm in control of everything to make sure that it's conducive for me.
Mhm.
And with that is work and time and creating the food and the this and that, but it's worth it to be in control of your environment.
Mhm. And yeah, maybe creating a new tradition there.
Yeah.
We're having Christmas at my place now.
Yep.
I got my stuff together and I'm in recovery and I'm cooking.
I'm cooking. So get ready
Yeah.
because I've never cooked before. No.
It might not be good this year, but
Yeah.
get better
Or
as
I'm really good at ordering from Whole Foods. So that's what we're
uh,
having this year.
there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. It's kind of a go-to.
Yeah. I think the number one, if I were to think about the number one thing that I think anybody could do that would be beneficial for them is giving, whether it's their time, their energy, their ear, a gift to people that are not. That are in need, dropping money in the Salvation Army thing, helping someone with a door. Just, it doesn't take money, but it's the act of kindness and giving. Like that is what the holiday spirit is about. And so if we can set aside all the other things and focus on not what can I get out of this, but what can I give out of this? That creates like the best feelings of all, especially when you're able to contribute to people that have less, are in a hard spot. Like you said, we never know what people are going through. So being able to just sort of be there for them, hold space for them, and not make it about ourselves, but make it truly about everybody else. I feel like that's the best thing we can do in recovery because as we know, addicts, alcoholics, it's a very self-centered sort of thing. And as you're coming into the newfound recovery, or even if you've been doing it for a while, we can still sort of be self-centered. Like learning how to not be that person, it takes a lot of time, but
Yeah.
by giving of ourselves, I think that's the best way to get into the holiday spirit, and it really helps you like overcome almost any negative emotions or feelings that you could be going through.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just giving doesn't have to be things. Yeah, it could be giving your ear, to someone, calling someone,
Yeah.
sharing your story,
Yeah.
talking about being in recovery, having going to a meeting and being like, I'm going to talk today. I'm going
Yeah.
to give a little bit of what I'm going through, put it out there.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, no, yeah, that's a definitely a good general lens for anyone going into the holidays, recovery or not. Yeah,
Yeah.
try to make it about, yeah, giving your time, giving your attention, and yeah, and it could be giving things, presents, making someone smile, getting them something that that they wanted if you have the means.
Hmm.
And if not, yeah, just really focus on what you can give, I guess, and we all have a lot to offer.
Yeah.
Just it just may, sometimes we have to be a little creative.
We have to
Uh,
be creative. Yeah.
but
Yeah, that's something I've done. We're doing with my family this year is I'm really trying like anti-consumerism because, the holidays have really been monopolized by consumerism, like buy things make you feel better. Valentine's Day, Easter, Christmas is all about buying stuff. And so, like what I told my family this year is like, let's not buy each other anything. Let's offer like one free hug, one free, hangout, I mean, it sounds super cheesy. My kids are older, so I can get away with that. However, like, let's not make it about, buying a gift just for the sake of buying a gift. Let's give something meaningful and thoughtful, because a lot of times that's more important than running out to Rite Aid and getting a bunch of things to wrap up so people have presents under the tree. Like, let's truly explore how to more give of ourselves that doesn't cost money.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good idea. Is
Thanks,
this,
Tom.
your, so no gifts this year for you?
I mean,
Family.
that's where I'm at as of today. We
Okay.
will see if we sustain that through the holidays. I always get this like, oh, we should have presents under the tree and we should do this, but if I could get the whole family on board, that's what I'm going to do. I mean, we do a white elephant Christmas over at the in-laws, so I enjoy that. That's always just more like a fun game anyway, but
Mhm.
I am really going to try to the no consumerism this year and see if we can just give thoughtful coupons of things to do together instead of just stuff.
That's awesome. Let
Yeah.
me know how it goes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're kind of
I'm not
excluded. You have a
against it.
small child. Santa's got to come. You're in a different situation than me.
That's where I'm like, "Ugh, don't
Yeah.
think I can pull that off, Angie.
Not with your son, but you could do it with the rest of your family that are older.
It's a lot to get on board, but
It's
we
true.
don't do a
I'm
lot
in
of
a
gift.
different place, so it's going to be a little easier for me. And
Just,
again, we'll see if I actually, can stay strong through the holidays on that.
we always just try to keep it small, like one thing.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
my wife and I think we're at three things a piece.
Nice.
I feel like we've said that every year though.
Yeah. And
You
do
know,
you stick to that three things?
no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I feel like we say that turns into, I don't know. I don't know what it is. You just start feeling the spirit
Yeah,
of,
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
you
I'm
want to,
strong right now, but we will see.
because yeah, you think you don't want somebody to be disappointed for
Yeah.
Christmas and,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, and when they feel good, you feel good. So if you can give them something to feel good, then that
yeah,
makes you feel good because you gave them something to feel good, and then you feel good. So it's tricky. It's tricky to do that without it costing a lot of money, because that's
yeah,
easy. That's the easy thing. Like, oh, I know he wants those pair of shoes. Let me go get those and wrap them, and that's awesome. And now we both feel good. It's a lot harder to come up with something creative that doesn't cost money.
yeah, yeah. No, it's a challenge.
Yeah, I'll let you know
Well,
how that goes.
let me know how it goes with your family. See if you can get everyone on board. Yeah,
Yeah.
your kids are older, so you could kind of go that route.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the rest of my family, like, they don't even give presents anymore. They don't even put up
Oh,
trees anymore. Everyone's so grown and whatever that there's none of that. So it truly is just my immediate family that we gotta practice this with. So we will see. I did get my tree up though. That is my favorite thing to do. We went tree shopping and I got up my tree and the lights and the decoration. So I am feeling festive with that.
excellent. Yeah, we were Christmas up came up pretty quick around here.
It's gone up earlier and earlier. Like, I am shocked. Like, in my neighborhood, we went straight from Halloween into Christmas. Like,
Oh, wow.
and it
Yeah.
early, like weeks early. Like, I would always feel guilty by being the first person, like the day after Thanksgiving, for doing it. Now it's starting weeks earlier. I'm like, what's happening in the world? I mean, I'm all for it because I love it, but it has definitely gone a lot earlier than it ever used to be.
It's probably a lot to do with how do we sell more Christmas?
Right.
They start everything starts coming out early, and everyone's like, I guess it's time. It's time.
Yep. Yep.
Christmas
And then
time.
there's the whole keeping up with the Joneses, right? It's like, that's what I do. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God, they've already got theirs up, theirs up, theirs up. I'm behind. Like, I got to get mine up.
Who's got the first tree up in
Oh,
the
yeah.
neighborhood? Oh
It's a
shoot.
thing.
Yeah. The
It's
Smiths
a thing.
got their tree up already. Gosh, they're
Yeah.
so on the ball, you know.
What does your hat say, Tom? It's a little blurry. Is it Bass Pro Shops or what? It is.
This is Big Lifts Club. Yeah.
Are you part of that club? Oh, it does have the fish. That's very clever.
But he's jacked.
He's
Yeah.
a super jacked carp. I
Yeah.
think it's a carp, a bass. Sorry. It's a super jacked bass.
Yeah.
Say
It's a
that one a
little
bunch of times.
spin on it, you know?
Yeah, I
On
love it.
the very trendy Bass Pro Shop hat.
Very trendy.
Very trendy.
My son and April's son, they went on this camping trip when they were like in the 8th grade or something. No, they were driving. So they had to be like 15 or 16. And they all went in and got the Bass Pro Shops hat matching for their little camping trip. And they all blacked out the bees.
Oh.
So it's super funny. So yes, those hats are very trendy, and they all still have those hats too.
That's funny.
I know. Oh, kids. All right, Tom. Well, I think we gave a lot of tips and tricks. We will continue to, serve in any way we can through the holidays. If you need help from either one of us or Elevate or anyone don't feel alone. Don't feel like you have to suffer in silence. Like, we're here for you. Even if it's to direct you to a meeting or someone to help, or even for us to personally be there. This is our life mission. So we are definitely here for you. So don't feel like you need to be alone or triggered or relapse through the holidays, because we got you.
Yeah. And if you have some other recovery tips for the holidays, you can put them in the comments.
Yeah. Put them in the comments and we'll put them in the next show. We still got
Yeah.
a few weeks to go.
All right. Awesome.
Awesome. Cool, Tom. Good seeing you. We'll talk
Good to
soon.
see you too. Talk to you soon. Have a great
right.
rest of your day.
Thanks. You too.
Bye.